Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. It's time to have a look at some of the news items that have happened today when it comes to War Thunder. Obviously the new update has come out, but there's always extra things going on in the background nowadays and things changing over. So I thought in this video we would talk about a theme decal which is coming in. For the Chinese Air Force, we'll talk about the Remembrance Day post that Gaijin had put out, and then also some things to do with the new update, and also the leaking stuff, which of course we talked about yesterday. So, this video will have a bit of everything. Just to start off with though, the Chinese Air Force's Day, this is the PLA Air Force Chevron decal that you can get. It's available from the 11th of November until the 14th of November, and all you gotta do is earn 3,000 mission points in Chinese aircraft. You could grind out the flapjack while also doing this decal. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be a decal for Armistice Day or Remembrance Day, but it is early in the day, so we'll see what goes on. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe and like the video. Let's get started. The post that Gaijin put out was actually on the forums. I didn't make it to the main page, which kind of sucked, but it's basically Armistice Day, remembering those who fell. It was posted by Magazine, who is one of the community managers, and it reads as follows. It's the early hours of the 11th of November, 1918 on the Western Front. Despite some soldiers knowing what a peace armistice agreement was to come into effect very soon, hostilities are still ongoing in some parts. The clock hits 11 AM, and the armistice peace agreement, signed just hours before, has come into effect. On the 11th of November 1918, at 11 AM, guns on the battlefield fell silent, as the Armistice Peace Agreement signed in the Compiègne wagon came into effect, which brought an end to 4 years of the most brutal fighting in human history. Thereafter, Armistice Day, followed by Remembrance Sunday for all the fallen in conflict, is observed in the United Kingdom and Commonwealth countries on the 11th of November, with a 2-minute silence observed at 11 AM to remember those who fell. And in the US, Veterans Day is celebrated on this day as well. In addition, Remembrance Sunday features parades and also poppies. As you play War Thunder today, consider taking a second to remember those who fell while fighting during the First World War. Their bravery was second to none, and many made the ultimate sacrifice while fighting for their country. We will remember them. I think the post itself is very nice to see. It's always good to recognize these types of things, and also if anybody does have any stories of family members who ended up fighting in the war, it's always really nice to hear about them. For me personally, I had several family members who fought, obviously being from Britain myself, and I had many family members who were also involved in the logistics side of things. We had some train drivers and also many others. I even have a family member who had to go in after the First World War in 1918, but also 1919, and be able to retrieve the dead and also their belongings to find out who had actually perished on the battlefield and who hadn't. And I can't even think about how horrifying it must have been going to battlefields and having to dig out trenches, find corpses, and basically look through all of these human remains to try and work out who really has been killed in action instead of just missing in action. It's something, after reading through all of the papers, harrows me to this day and reminds at least me that war isn't just about the front of the battlefield, it's also about all of the aftermath and also the foremath too. It's one of those parts which I feel like is not recognized as much and really should be when it comes to all of these things. So yeah, if you have any stories of family members, or if you have any people that you do want to remember, I'd love to hear about it, because I think it's important to share these memories to keep them alive. The next part of the video is about the leaking stuff we talked about yesterday. Maho, who is one of the heads of the War Thunder Snowmine Discord, basically a place where a lot of the leaks get posted when it comes to just the general updates and also what's going on in War Thunder, basically said that if I didn't take down the video from yesterday, that he would ban me from the Discord for a Rule 10 violation, which is basically misinformation or lying about things. I personally don't think there's any lying in the video. If there might be different interpretations when it comes to different parts of it, but I did ask him if he wanted me to put something in a video today, and he said that he wanted me to mention that some leaks did not happen presumably due to the backlash, but the Thai VT4 in particular has been leaked by multiple leakers. And I'm guessing the idea is basically just to show that it is, multiple sources of information. It isn't just from an individual place. And that's also what I said in the video yesterday, where there has been a bunch of different leaks all over the place. And because it's all different people, we can't always know what their agendas are going to be. The video yesterday wasn't specifically targeting an individual. I never target individuals, especially when it comes to leaking, because there isn't an individual. There are several different people who are involved in several different parts, whether it is publicly known or privately known. And therefore, it's not just singling out anybody. That's why I don't use people's names. I don't use who they are. We talk generally about a leaker's leaks. We don't talk about who they are or what they do, because that is not really the kind of remit of it. So if it was seen as me targeting an individual, that wasn't it. And also, Maho did say that he only watched that specific part of the video and he didn't end up finishing it. And obviously later on in the video, I talked about, past experiences with these things, and also brought up several different examples of different times when things have been leaked by different people. So just to make it clear, when it comes to yesterday's video, it wasn't going after one person. It was talking about the culture around it. And maybe I should be a bit more careful when it comes to discussing these things, instead of talking about it from a collective point of view, maybe being a little bit more direct in it. But generally, I don't like doing that, because I don't want these guys to face a ton of backlash for what they do. I want them to do what they want to do, just like how I want people to talk about what they want to talk about. Unfortunately, Maho threatened to ban me from the Discord. Kind of sucks if that's the case, because obviously it's where a lot of the data mine stuff is posted. But to be honest, it's his Discord. He can do what he wants. I'm a 32-year-old dude, like it just is what it is. The other part he also said, he said, as for the rest of this was talking about the video yesterday. As for the rest of the video, I didn't bother to watch it all the way. My requirement is to remain truthful and keep the criticism of the leakers to only when they make their own subjective takes injected with the leaks, not try to debunk leaks that did not happen either coincidentally due to backlashes or other reasons. The first thing I would like to say about this, I may have information that they don't have. I don't know what they know. They don't know what I know. And yeah, there's also other places where people do leak information about these types of things. So at the end of the day, it's fair that I don't prescribe motives onto other people, but I try not to unless I know something that's going on and have seen it for myself. I generally feel like that is one of the most important parts of this types of thing. And as I said yesterday, this was more talking about the last decade in War Thunder, not this period of time. One of the things I feel that is a problem I run into quite a lot is when I talk about stuff, I'm not just talking about from the last few months, especially when it comes to leaking stuff. In War Thunder, leaking stuff has happened since the game has come out. I still remember back in the day, I was accused, when it came to the UFO event, they added in one of those games where you can kind of like search through files and go through, a bunch of different stuff. And you could basically find out, it was like a little mini game, so you could find out what was going on in the event. we sat in the Tech Hub Discord, there was 20 of us trying to work it all out, and we ended up working it all out, which was great. I made a video about it, and then one of the leakers at that time accused me of stealing their information to find out what ended up happening in the leak itself. But we straight up sat in the Discord. We used the VC chat, we just sat there and talked it through, and you can literally see all of the posts of where we found all of this stuff because we found it all out ourselves. We didn't use any outside help, but because we had found it at the same time as this other person, they had decided that it had been stolen from them, even though it had straight up happened. The release of the kind of little thing that you find came out earlier that day. There was a bunch of different people working on it, and for some reason it wasn't allowed that different people could come to the same conclusion, which was the correct answer, which is usually how this stuff works anyway. So yeah, it was just a little bit odd, and that is a presumption. That is something which I was talking about yesterday, and also many other things that happen over the years. Like sometimes the mask drops, and that's just kind of how it goes. For me personally, I'm going to continue covering the leak stuff. I don't believe the video yesterday had any misinformation in it. I don't think it's going to be one of those things that's going to be accepted. So if I get banned from the Discord, I get banned from the Discord. I'll just, as I did before this year, just get the information from other areas. It worked well for me, and it was nice being part of that community and nice seeing people discuss stuff. But if it's not allowed, it's not allowed. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.